I mean, between the Ashe and Chance of Crystal Arrow to follow up with the Ornn, if you find any of eStar's members moving into places that they're not supposed to be, you can very quickly have LGD follow up with just this monumental CC over and over.
We return to Summoner's Rift. Game 2. Folks, LGD were rated very highly, but eStar pretty much slaughtered them in Game 1. That's what we've had tonight. We had a best of 3 between V5 and OMG, where each game, teams slaughtered each other, quite literally. This time, eStar's kicked off this series doing exactly that as we return to an invade and we welcome CJJ onto the Rift for the first time in his career, especially into the LPL. And Langx, first time onto LGD as the top laner here. So we've got some talented names on the side of LGD, but they need to come together.
So again, we're seeing LGD looking towards a pretty heavy mid-game focus here. You've got some of that can be at least helped as the later stages go on thanks to the Ornn, but realistically, you're going to be looking at where Ashe comes on with the Blade of the Rune King and that Runen's Hurricane. You've got xiye as well, who's going to be profiting off of 2 items really well. So if LGD can use these long-range engages to find the fights that they want before Wink gets to his items, they could be in really good shape.
But looking at mid and 80 carry then. We've got a deep forward start here by CJJ, just trying to track the jungle path of Peanut. Peanut's going from buff to buff, it seems, with a red buff start, while Wei doing the same, but going from red to blue, opposite sides of the Rift. And my thoughts are, we'll look at the bottom lane once again, because Shiauc and Wink were all over Mark before, but this time he's got to deal with a Thresh, not a Karma.
But Shiauc's still in a good position here because Thresh CCs himself to go for that hook. So oftentimes as a blitz, you can just hook the Thresh and turn that fight back in your favor. Especially if you've got the attention of Wei down there as well. It's a nice little combo that you can work with. Top lane though.
Actually, really nice charge here, and the Grasp of the Undying not going to come through, but the trade magnificent as Fenfen does his own job in that mid lane against xiye.
And it's funny seeing the veterancy, I suppose, is kind of a loose term I'll use for Xiaobai after one split, but it's now been swapped over from Garvey being the new guy against Xiaobai to having Langx as the veteran against CJJ in the top.
As one himself in Peanut has found an opening through the mid lane. First blood, very early done by LGD as Mark's been caught out, flushes away, sends down the Dark Passage. Wei wants to challenge here. He's got press the attack, remember, as Wink just can't get the damage off in time. And eStar's all committed forward for that.
Wei is also coming down here, so this fight may not be over. Here's the TP.
TP going to be coming through. This is Langx, remember. Actually, no, it's xiye, excuse me. Scatter the Weak comes through. Blocks down Wei. He's slowed on down, but they can't get anything more. Peanut even making his presence known. 4 members bot for LGD, but eStar's get away.
xiye not quite able to get the TP in time where he'd be able to CC for a play to happen, but still top lane.
Yeah, this is escalating a little bit, but the Searing Charge doesn't connect. Now CJJ might have an advantage here. Langx low on mana.
It will revolve around CJJ dodging the Bellows Breath. If Langx gets this build off, though, it's going to bounce back in favor of Langx. He looks like he will.
He's already healed up. Yeah. Plus the Ruby Crystal. Yeah. Well, that's the benefit as Wei has quickly made his way up to the top side. CJJ, will he have enough mana to kind of contest this? It seems like the answer is yes, as blue buff Wei follows up as well.
Wait.
Bellows Breath under turret. One more shot needed. CJJ overcommits, but in comes Fenfen to clean up the kill, who flashes away. Messy dive, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Look at where the wave is, though. You end up going kill for kill. Langx is going to be able to collect this wave as it bounces off the turret thanks to TP, so you don't lose anything as Langx. And I mean, overall, you've already committed as eStar's Fenfen to top lane, so he's missing these waves mid.
xiye gets a push out mid. Yep, that's right. Also, Peanut gets the mark on his Scuttlecrap. So big win.
Big win for LGD. As you said, Scuttle now going across. You can move back towards the bottom side here as Peanut, as this dragon is starting to spawn. And with Kramer and Mark having a nice little advantage for themselves in the bottom side with being able to, hold on, push and poke aggressively.
Peekaboo, it's Kramer. Oh no, he's going to get knocked up. Gravitum's available, but it is just simply going to be a trade here. A nice one from eStar as Wei's back again. Kramer and Mark sick of getting camped.
That's going to be Kramer forced to flash, yeah. I didn't realize Mark was still only level 2 in this bottom lane. He's been forced out of so many minions, and he's going to lose all these as well, thanks to Wei being down here. eStar is punishing heavily in this bottom lane.
The diversity of going through different lanes, right? Peanut now has to make a response. eStar and Spring, what they were good at is they could hit bot, they could hit top, but they'd do the same thing, and this bottom lane is so far ahead now.
Yeah, I mean, level advantage, CS advantage, gold advantage for Wink and Xiauc. They can be the ones who now turn towards this dragon off of the back. Oh, you may see Peanut try to sneak it away off of the recalls, but either way, they are in fantastic spot. BF Sword already bought for Wink, and this becomes really difficult for LGD now to deal with.
Wei's just taking his camps towards that bottom side. You can see him now on his Gromp. You can also notice that Peanut is heading up towards that mark that's in enemy territory. Langx and xiye both have control within their lane, so this shouldn't be too hard for Peanut to start stacking up.
And you can see Lyric's prophecy of what do Ornn's build in the top lane still figuring itself out. Langx going to be going instead towards that Bramble Vest, so, or not towards the Bramble Vest, towards the Bammy Cinder. So he's going to be looking more towards those team fights, trying to get involved a lot more, rather than going for the Bramble Vest, which can work well in this lane.
Assassin Ornn! Oh no. But which one is real? Clapped! Langx solo kill. Welcome to LGD, honey.
Welcome to the LPL, CJJ as well. Solo kill by the Ornn. He's going to get a bunch of plates now, and that armor, that extra damage that's going to be coming through from this Ornn is going to be so difficult.
Oh man, I complained about Aphelios. It's time for the Ornn, because Langx hit 6 first. That's great, but Ornn does a bucket load of damage. That dude is not a tank.
And he's going to be able to do a lot of work in and around these fights as well. So CJJ forced to burn his teleport, which is really big here, especially as he started to talk about the dragons and that. But yeah, I'm not sure what CJJ was thinking. Level 6, Langx had all the advantage in the world. Slapped, clapped, and bopped back towards the base.
Yeah, CJJ's debut is 0-2 right now. The turret dive failing. And now getting dove, but that was no failure from Langx. He's 2-1. Ornn is big, and that's a 4th stack Dagda for Peanut this early on. Kindred now has the extra range, and that Q is going to give so much attack speed.
And I feel like this is the way that you actually play against Wei and eStars, is get out and just play your game. You know they're going to be aggressive. Try and at least survive as much of that pressure, which is what Kramer and Mark are trying to do on the bottom side. But if you can get other lanes like Langx ahead, like mid lane ahead, and now Peanut, you're going to do far better when it comes to these mid-game skirmishes. CJJ
is getting zoned out pretty hard here as well. Every time the pillar goes down, the Syrian charge threat on top of the Bellows Breath. Just notice that Bellows Breath now has 3 points into a Q with 2. So Langx is going to have a lot of magic damage on top of the Stone Skin, as you talked about last game. You know, the Wukong Stone Skin for the armor. He can't deal with magic damage.
And the thing is, the Wukong has to actually attack you or use abilities to start getting that Stone Skin working. So when you've got so much CC built into your combo as Langx, it becomes very difficult for CJJ to actually get any of that armor and health regen before you've got Langx walking away.
And while we're talking about that top lane, it's not the only place that's suffering. While we look at bottom lane and we say, yeah, good lead from Wink, who's also pushing in. Look at the jungle CS discrepancy. As Hook does land here onto Wink, but they're going to lock them down. A good flay to separate as heal has to be used by Wink. Well, not has to, it is. Exhaust was the trade-off there with Ignite from Xiauc, but that does force the bottom lane back a little bit. While my point was going to be about jungle difference with 2 levels, the lead by Peanut, with the mark difference and the CS that's double.
So, eStars right now are very much all in on Wink. CJJ has lost out on top side. You've got your jungle matchup going very awry as well. At least Fenfen is keeping things somewhat even in the mid, but you need Wink now to get to those 3 items and be your carry. Otherwise, you're going to run the risk of when you get towards this mid game just being overrun with long range engage we talked about from Langx and from Kramer.
He starts catching back up and some of the gold lead bottom side. As you said, that's going to be their hope. But LGD, if they've got a Herald for the top side, give it to Langx and Peanut. The 2 most fed people are CJJ. He does not own those Krugs anymore. They belong to Peanut. And Herald getting a second charge up here as well means CJJ has to pay the respect.
The thing is, though, they've already lost that bottom lane turret for LGD. So it's a trade back and forth where eStars are now able to rotate Wink and Xiauc up. With the way that this game is going as well, Xiauc's going to be a big factor on if he can find a few of these stray hooks like he did in the last game. You can very quickly turn this game in favor of eStar. So don't count out eStar just yet, even though they are only a mild bit behind.
We'll be keeping an eye on that bottom lane, mainly top versus bot. Good to see Langx with, you know, a bit of priority here. As fans will remember, especially RNG fans, you guys didn't really like him on that team. And to be fair, he's kind of hard done by. As xiye might actually be caught out here, but never mind. You have yourself the phase rush. Philip was an inch short from knocking him in the air.
And look at where LGD are starting to move around the map. You can see they're thinking of making these plays. Kramer even hovering towards that mid lane for a moment to see if he needed to use that Enchanted Crysted arrow. So just hang on, LGD still looking to see if they can make some plays happen here.
Mark has a hook himself. Xiauc's level 6 though, so silence is available. Second time xiye's hit Fenfen with Scatter the Weak, but there's no follow-up. But LGD, they're feeling something. They're saying, hey, Enchanted Crystal arrows up. We've got so much CC. We're ready. And Wink and Xiauc could be the target. Peanut is crawling up the lane with Mark.
The thing here is, though, look at the items that we've got for LGD.
TP. Look at the TP.
Oh,
how
that
deep
is so
that?
Deep. Holy
Langx is on a mission.
Oh no, the Enchanted
Call the
Crystal arrow.
Forge God. Yeah, but doesn't matter. They've got a billion bits of CC. Wink flashes away from that one. Over the wall, Langx is here, ready to party. The Bell's Breath stops the Gravitum, and that's a kill. The commitment from LGD was there, and it's going to pay off because there might be a dragon in 30 seconds, but they got some more gold onto that crucial carry, Peanut.
They need to try and get this top lane turret so they can get some sort of objective, but...
Wait? Okay, maybe baiting them in. But how? No. Okay, pause there. Fenfen not able to crawl the distance back.
So you commit a huge amount here from LGD. TP, Flash, and Ultimate from Langx, the Ultimate from Kramer, and yes, you get the kill onto Wink eventually, but it doesn't matter. eStar's invested so little in that, apart from the Flash from Wink, that they can now go towards this dragon and secure the second one, and there's no way LGD can try and fight them.
Very, very true. Just coming back out on the map now, so you'll take those small wins when you can get it. Right now, 2K gold lead here for LGD in this second game. We're going to have ourselves a mountain. Oh, I have to say, Dagda, you know,
what's the role? What's the role?
You know, the conversation that's been happening has been about for dragons. Oh, it's infernal. I was going to say,
We're okay.
I was going to say, because of the conversation that's been going around recently, where teams will actually just not get to the two dragons to wait for the roll. If it was a mountain with this Ornn, you'd just say, oh god, no. LGD getting 4 mountain dragons would suck, as he's going to go straight past Fenfen, building his shadow. What are you building, sir? Oh, just a ruby crystal. Okay. Langx still terrifyingly massive, but CJJ has caught back up on experience and CS, despite being a level behind.
I'm trying to keep my eyes on where LGD are moving, because look, they're trying to get up to a point where they're in a good spot and they have their, 1 to 2 items completed and can make stuff happen. But with all the funny business that went on in this bottom lane, Kramer is so far behind Wink. Has only got the Vam Scepter and a longsword to his name, trying to finish off this cull as well to get a little bit more cash injected. But it means that the windows of opportunity that LGD are at their strongest are certainly being left behind.
Pillar put in front of Langx, he can't escape. He gets knocked on up. He's tanky enough, but versus 3, that ain't it. Wink gets the shutdown. Timo says thumbs up, and a big condition, again, has been shut down.
Trundle says, you call that a pillar? Just slams one up in his face. And yeah, there's nowhere to run as Langx, and unfortunately getting caught out there. Now you've got a lot more gold being funneled into Fenfen once again. He's getting more, just got another one of those plates before the plates fell.
Yep.
Next is going to be Rift Herald in the cards. You've got full control of this topside jungle for eStars. This is, again, eStar, even though it's not as quick off the mark, they're still getting control of this game.
Because let's talk in broader spectrum. If you look at the scaling across the board, do you just sit on eStar and go, rightio, that'll be easy to execute later on? I'll pause on that question because we're going to watch Langx. Yeah, between 2 pillars.
And that is an interview he didn't want to take. Langx is gone for. But I think coming back to your question, yeah, I mean, the scaling is there when you look at Wink, when you look at Fenfen as well, who can do a lot of work. But the big issue is more so how do you try and operate in these team fights, because you've got Kindred who can do a good job against CJJ's engage and against Fenfen as well if he's able to get that ultimate up fast enough. However, again, Xiauc can play towards that. We can have Langx with these massive engages or disengages if you want to. It becomes very much about how this is all orchestrated within these team fights.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question because it might not be as cut and dry, especially when you have Ornns in game, especially when you have, you know, like an Ashe and a Syndra as well and what their capabilities are. You take out Wink or someone like CJJ and you are so lucky. You silly monkey, go home.
But that's the thing, is that, yes, you've got a little bit more scaling, but still, Wink will eventually get to a point where he's a crit AD carry. He will just do more. But it is very much the operation in these fights, and we'll have to see how it goes as LGD will manage to crack open, it looks like, this tier 1 in the mid lane.
One more auto. Oh, literally one more auto. I never knew I could be so right. Well, turret still goes down in the end. Just look up the top of your screen, folks. I'll wait 2 seconds. Well done, we got there. It's a 2k gold lead and then some still for LGD. 16 minutes into the game. There is an infernal dragon coming up. LGD have no elementals yet. And much like my conversation with the Mountain, still for the likes of Kramer and xiye, getting 4 elemental dragons would actually be gorgeous.
And you do have the opportunity as LGD to now fight for this. You've hit the Luden's Ekko onto your Syndra. She really hurts. Blade of the Rune King complete onto Kramer is a big spike for this guy as well. And we're not even touching on the top lane where Langx is running away with items. So if there's ever an opportunity for them to start fighting for dragons, this is now, and really where LGD should be looking to try and punish eStars as you're still waiting for Wink to finish off his 2-3 items.
Now let's look at items quickly before we get to dragon, because it's going to be important. We've got 1 across the board. Almost towards... Yeah,
I love watching Xiauc's Blitzcrank. He's always looking for the plays, especially in around these objectives. Because we just said, look, LGD can fight at this objective if they want to, but if Xiauc gets the pick now, there's no way you can make it back as whoever the unfortunate soul is to this dragon.
I will say, if Langx is the one absorbing damage, that's going to be still very hard to kill him. And the damage that comes through from LGD afterwards is going to be pretty dangerous. Almost got a Black Cleaver here for Peanut, but won't be in time for the Dragon. Blasting one on top of the Luden's Ekko is an important note here, as Teleport does come through from xiye holding it. But we're close to the Abyssal Mask on Langx.
It becomes super easy as Langx to just start prioritizing armor after this as well. Because realistically, if Fenfen is hitting on you, well then you've got xiye and Kramer that are totally fine in the backline. So just build up as much armor as possible, become this damage sponge for Wink and for CJJ, and you're going to be in great shape as LGD.
Getting a bit of a focus here on Peanut. Through his CS in the jungle and his lead over Wei. Dragon's going to be secured, the first maybe of many, as Wei actually might be caught out here, but good pillar on top of Peanut and Mark. Notice here, after the Dragon's been taken, it's level 10 on Peanut versus level 8 on Wei. That discrepancy is still there, and I can't remember what stream it was, but I remember a lot of pros talking about once you build up a level lead in the jungle, it's really, really hard with no catch-up experience, with that taken off the table, really hard to get it back. So that 2-level lead could be prevalent for the majority of the game, especially when you're 50 CS ahead.
It definitely will, especially when you get towards level 9. The experience increase is 150%, so you now just get more experience off of your jungle camps as well, which is why it's so difficult for you to catch back up, especially as Wei, who's only sitting on level 8, hasn't hit that extra boon when it comes to the jungle experience, and that's where you can see Peanut is storming ahead here.
I love that Xiauc throws out the rocket grab, but just to get the cannon, and Wink doesn't really give it to him, as Peanut in a good position here to challenge Fenfen, who's just proto-belted forward. Is going to use the phase dive now onto Peanut, but he has ulti, just trying to get the ulti out of Fenfen himself. Wei came up to Shadow, but the fight ends there.
And we are in this little bit of a low state, the ping pong of the waves and all that, because there's not really much on the map right now for people to take. The towers that you'd like to try and scrap over, like those mid lanes, are all gone. And unfortunately for eStars, they don't really have any way of dealing with the wave clear from xiye, from Kramer, to try and put pressure on this mid. As I say that though, eStars, a little bit out of position here, might give LGD the opportunity to siege here in the mid, but they back off irrespective.
Yeah, a little bit dangerous at this point, I guess I thought. LGD will still catch the wave. Notice where the next mark is, up towards the walls. Not sure if they're still there or not, but Peanut has no interest in getting it right now. He just goes back to farming, maintaining that lead. In fact, right now, if you look at Wei, he's still at 8, so that's a 3-level lead. Peanut absolutely massive here.
Where's his jungle camps? I mean, they've all been gobbled up by Peanut.
Through,
yeah,
right.
There is no way for Wei to get in here. And already as Wei, it was going to be pretty horrible in this match because, okay, I got to get past Langxing's ultimate, I gotta get past xiye Scout of the Week, and then I gotta deal with Kramer, who's just gonna be slowing me the entire time in this fight.
Yeah.
So Wei was already gonna have a bad time. You just double down on that now with 1, the matchup against Peanut, and 2, how far behind you've fallen. Wei is not going to be a factor in these fights at all. So as eStars, you're almost always playing as 4 versus 5, apart from Wei maybe eating a bit of damage that can be avoided by Fenfen or Wink.
At least he has Flash Pillar, you know. At least he's got something. It's not a Lee Sin, right? Where it's all down to the kick. He's got Pillar, and he's also got PT, which will help his team. As Langxing's been caught out here. 2 pillars against the wall, but it doesn't lock him down.
That is the ultimate burnt by Wei, which I was going to say is the other factor he will be useful for in trying to at least make Langxing killable. But right now, after burning all that, LGD will be fine. They're able to go and rinse and repeat here, and Langxing sent to the bot side.
Let's go. Solo kill time. And I'm talking about Langxing here. As Fenfen is not going to land his parallel convergence. Actually gets clapped under turret. Fenfen goes in for another trade. Feeling very confident with the chrono break in front of him.
I think Langxing might have healed off that trade.
Yeah,
there is no damage from Fenfen
He's
right
level
now.
13. He's got the upgraded Majora's Mask now in the inventory. The Sunfire Cape there as well. Next level, he's going to start giving it over to the rest of LGD. So that Gold League 2000 is going to expand. Woo! Let's go.
Oh, hit him! Oh, CJJ, well
At least
played.
he still technically hit him. Hit one of them at the very least, but yeah, CJJ disappears as eStar are going to collapse.
TP as well. This is everyone from eStar coming up here.
LGD are going to try and kite into the alcove. Langxing here first. He has Call the Forge God available as into the corner. Good dodge away from Xiaoxi's hook. It's 3 versus 5. As now Langxing's ult finally starting to come out. He flashes away so he can hit it onto CJJ. Now they can push forward. LGD are so damn fed that they can take this with a flash play and the hook landing. Oh, Mark, hello. Xiaoxi left on his lonesome. He pulls him into his death as the rest collapse. LGD destroy eStar in that big old fight.
A great disengage from LGD, able to kite back Langxing, creating the space necessary for Peanut and xiye to get into a better position, buys time for Kramer and Mark to get towards the top lane, and you can see Langxing is so damn hard to take down. And when you've got this safety net of Peanut's ultimate that he didn't even have to use in that fight, it's all disaster for eStar.
All Fenfen can do is hit this turret and try and get something back, because LGD have taken a massive gold lead. They've got the Baron in their back pocket. Chrono Break going to come through. Fenfen wants a solo kill. He'll get the turret, but Kramer can just auto him. It was close. I saw the balls, but Kramer just smacked him out.
Close, but no cigar. Kramer gets the kill on Fenfen. They're getting stuff across the map here, and eStar will look to try and at least get this dragon for themselves, but LGD are collapsing as well.
Yeah, Langxing is a one-man army. 2K, good pillar though. And as the arrow comes through, who's it going to hit? Sells by, but Langxing's not done just yet. CJJ and Wei have been spotted out and are being chased, but LGD can't get there in time. So, attention's changed. And even though eStars are on sole point, LGD have that Baron for 2 minutes. And this is going to be torture.
And now they're going to start cracking open these turrets around the map. Mid lane will be the first to fall. Top lane is already incredibly low. And you've got xiye working with Mark to push in this bottom side. Just give another turret over in favor of LGD. And what was a very close game, and with eStar starting off well, LGD have been playing this map perfectly.
And now it's hard to see how LGD lose this game, right?
Well,
but
it could be all picks
eStar,
like this.
It could be this, that's right. You got the silence still available as Peanut's locked into a wall, but Call the Forge God's coming down. Lining up instead goes to Wink as Peanut. He's forced to flash over the wall, but Langxing now left on his lonesome. But he's still almost full health while Mark and xiye are pushing. eStars are chasing him, and great, Fenfen got Peanut, but look at what's happening in the bottom side. Langxing is still drawing their attention, and he's doing damage. Versus 4, Ornn is a tank carry, and he doesn't care. Xiaoxi almost dies, and they do get him in the end, but xiye should be able to get this turret.
And this is the problem with eStar, is that if you can't close the gap with CJJ, it's really difficult for you to actually lock down members, apart from a hook for Xiauc. And Langx survives for so long, they crack open that bottom lane turret, and all you get is, yeah, the kill on Langx and Peanut, but it doesn't mean anything. They're going to be back up on the map before anything meaningful can come from eStar.
And it's only going to get worse. After that, Langx picked up a Warden's Mail. So we're getting the Randuin's Omen or the Frozen Heart, whichever you prefer. And at this point, Baron buff opens the base against eStar here for LGD. They got 30 seconds just to push out these waves. But notice, we got Dragons coming up. We'll have another Baron after that. For LGD, this seems to be their path into a Game 3.
Curious to see now what Langx, how he's going to start moving these items around. Level 14 on the Ornn has already given one across the Obsidian Cleaver for Peanut. And then we've got to look towards, I'd imagine the next one would be onto that Blade of the Rune King for Kramer. I would prefer to see xiye actually try and go towards the Rabadon's Death Cap to update it to the Death Crown, but I think he's a long way from completing it at this stage, and especially when he's got already the Fiendish Codex in his back pocket, he's not going to be going up towards it, so just going to go for the Luden's Pulse instead.
Okay, well that's not a favorite. Yeah, definitely not. I know that on top of the list is definitely Abyssal Mask. God, I must really want to play Zelda. All that comes into my mind is Majora's Mask. Xiauc's throwing out Blind Hook. Abyssal Mask, then Infinity Edge. Trinity Force is one of the best upgrades. That's for sure. I mean, that is so... It upgrades everything, apart from the cooldown reduction. It's pretty insane. But, yeah, I love Ornn at the moment. I think Ornn's in a great place if you like takes that do damage pretty much all game long. Yeah.
I mean, what does Ornn not offer? He can disengage relatively well with the ult and engage.
Bit of poke with the Q.
He's got a whole bunch of damage off of the Bellows Breath and CC reduction, so he can still get away. He just does everything so well.
Yeah. If anyone wants to climb in solo queue, play Ornn.
But that's why I'm surprised that it's taken us so long to actually see him and not be a little bit more at the forefront of this meta, because he can do so well, especially against...
Hang on. Dagdo, got to pause you. But you're right. At the forefront, quick. You got
especially because of the
seconds.
likes of Wink on this Aphelios. Struggles against Ornn. You look at like the Ashes, the Varuses. All these guys can struggle against an Ornn pick. And it makes it so much easier to deal with. But now we got LGD. A minute left until that Infernal Drake is up. And with control of this river, should make it a lot easier for them to go forward, especially with QSS not available now for Wink.
Xiauc's just hoping that that LGD are grouping up in a brush and he gets a blind hook and brings this game back. And
hey.
At this point, I got to say, yeah, it's not the worst idea. LGD are doing that and almost find xiye. Okay, we're getting closer. LGD were grouping up and Xiauc almost brought the game back to a point.
I love this idea from Xiauc of a ward. Who needs it? I've got a fist that I can just fly in and pull whoever's in.
And who are you upset? Like, if you pull in Langx, that's not good. But anyone else, you're probably okay with. Maybe not Mark.
I think you're still fine. You can burst them pretty quickly. And
yeah.
Either way, though, that is Dragon now up on the cards. eStar not able to do diddly squat. So LGD will pick up their second Dragon. And I like the way that eStar are now trying to use this to get control of this Dragon, or not Dragon area, even Baron area, while the attention of LGD is in the bottom side of the map.
Guess they don't need Kramer. Just let him go back. He's got a Death Stance, by the way. I know that we've been seeing this quite a bit. We saw it quite a lot at MSC, that the 80 carries are now very happy to optimize into a Death Stance. The stats are just so damn good, especially with, even with the bleed over effect for range being changed. The armor magic resist is just so handy. And
the 10% CDR is really good for Kramer here, because you just get that Ashe ult up like so much more often. And when, especially on a squad like this, where you've got a secondary AD carry, you don't have to be the sole damage dealer. So opting again for a little bit more utility is really, really good, but you still get a heap of damage out of that item regardless.
Yeah, I mean, the damage out of the item is, you're not really sacrificing much. The only difference is BT towards yourself. But again, we've seen AD carries head towards this direction quite recently. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a Baron back up on the field of Rift once again. Fenfen here on the side lane, but it has TP, the level 16 Ekko, trying to add a bit of pressure here against LGD.
So although LGD can do a good job here of keeping Fenfen in check here, where you already see that Langxing's moved down to collect this wave. The biggest problem for them is while Langxing is down here, Xiauc becomes so much more enabled. He can go for a hook across anyone, and it will stick and cause big issues. So this is why you cannot count out eStar just yet, despite the control that LGD have in this game, because Blitzcrank is a champion that can turn everything off of one single hook.
As long as he doesn't die first from xiye. What we just saw there, the scatter the weak, does a lot to the Blitzcrank that has minimal resistances himself. But the reset begins. eStar heading towards that mid lane while LGD pretty persistent on pushing this down. The arrow lands onto wave, but it's close range, so it won't do too much. But the auto attacks coming from the lethal tempo Ashe puts him at half health while Fenfen's been found out. Peanut fails the jump over the wall, but Langxing needs to hit this, which does not. Fenfen has already drawn out an ulti, a flash as well, which he burns himself. Parallel convergence slows down Peanut. And there we go. Fenfen now known on the bottom side of the map while eStar's atop.
But eStar haven't committed anything to this fight. You've now got Ashe down, Call of the Forge God. Flash is burnt as well. eStar could look to try and pick a fight here and get onto LGD, because a lot of these key key ultimates are down.
Chelsea's just been so close. That's the third time I've seen xiye narrowly dodge a rocket grab. As Kramer pairing with Langxing, who Bellows Breath wasn't going to hit him anyway, but Bagda. Here he is. Fenfen being spotted out. The deep TP onto xiye forces his flash. He has to chrono break immediately, though, even after the unleashed power. So at half health with the orbs surrounding him. Langxing on the chase, but the rest of eStar are there. LGD still hovering around the Baron. Again, it's first date material here between LGD and eStar.
It feels like eStar, though, haven't been able to punish what was a nice window for them right here, where you have a lot of those big ultimates burnt, the likes of, as we said, the Ornn ults. They're going to be coming back up now, and LGD have found that moment to get back to the base. And Xiauc just not quite able to find these hooks he's been fishing for so long.
Really rare that the broadcast will bring up runes this late into the game. I'm sure on the Chinese side they were talking about like the speed in which Kramer was able to chase. You could see Nimbus cloaked there with the follow-up of lethal tempo. Quite an interesting combination. As there we go again.
So the big one I think they're trying to show is that you don't have that approach velocity as this Ashe, which is oftentimes what's taken. She's actually opted for the Gathering Storm, so trying to be a more late game orientated carry, because this will help match, as we said, a lot of back and forth between who would actually be scaling better. Gathering Storm helps shove that a little bit back towards LGD here, but it does mean that, say for the likes of Wei, if you end up getting caught by Kramer, he's not going to be able to get that speed boost that would make it impossible for Wei to run away. Instead, now you've got a little bit more leniency on if a couple of these Ashe arrows hit. It
reminds me of the start of Season 9 when we saw new runes come through and people saw Gathering Storm. I think it was before when Gathering Storm had a lot more AP and AD to it towards the later game. I remember seeing a lot of AD carries to go to. It was like, okay, we need the scaling part as Peanut going to be chased here. Xiauc wants to find him. Langxing, Bellows Breath locks him up. Versus 5, he has to flash over the wall because LGD aren't here yet. But Chrono Break used by Fenfen while Call the Forge God for the re-engage. Peanut is the first to chase up with the two-man lockup here from Langxing's ulti. And the damage and range from Peanut to force outweigh. eStars have been fought back. But LGD, an ultimate goes out.
Kramer doesn't have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. There was just shot. Wink instantly with the QSS, though.
And now Peanut locked up against a wall. We saw it off camera as a Bellows Breath again from Langxing. Almost as good as a QSS at this point as Mark. Shallow on the hook of CJJ. Fenfen hanging around, has Chrono Break again. And this is tense because remember, it's Infernal Stall for eStar. They're teleporting in on the side of LGD.
This is so tense. If CJJ can find this big flank, they might be able to make a play happen. Keep your eyes on both the Lamb's Respite from Peanut and this Wukong.
Down, it's just gone. eStars don't want to pick it up just yet. The parallel convergence comes in and too late to the show. LGD pick it up and look, they're heading towards Baron. Pings are going down and eStar are not respecting this.
There's too many minions that are going to be plaguing this mid lane. LGD have such a quick Baron take as well with Kramer and Peanut. So this is going to be gone before eStar even get over it.
I mean, with the Ashe, it's just, yeah, you're right, done. The pings are going down and you can see they're moving towards them, but it's gone.
And now you just add triple Infernal towards LGD. That scaling that was potentially on eStar's side is completely gone, especially with the Gathering Storm as well. So LGD now have such a commanding position that even though we're starting to hit that later stages, LGD will still win out in these fights.
I mean, who can kill Langx? That's been the biggest question for 10 minutes now. And the answer hasn't been anyone. I mean, 5 people lay their damage into him before he flashes over the wall and then he re-engages. This Ornn has a Knight's Vow. That's a bro. That's a real bro. He's also upgraded to Might of the Ruin King, the Luden's Pulse. Everyone's got an upgraded item, bar Mark. And LGD, they've got a Baron again for 2 minutes in this game.
At this stage, you can see there's no killing Langx. Everything gets tossed into him, he's still fine. So going towards the Knight's Vow, even though it's not your typical tank item, just makes the most amount of sense.
It's on Peanut. It's actually on Peanut. It's not on Kramer.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Peanut's probably doing a comparable amount of damage as Kramer. I'm not sure what his stacks are, but I can see his range is at least pretty
I mean, he's almost got an xiye, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Kramer hitting that 4-item Kindred that late game. It's going to be super interesting to watch. Kramer now sitting at the bottom side here as the Ashe pushing out the way.
And don't forget as well, we were talking about Shiauc, who's potentially got that hook to save the game here for eStars, but you got the Banshee's Veil now completed by xiye. Can't really get the hook on there. You don't want it on Langx. If you get on Mark at this stage, well, he's happy to die for the cause because everyone else in LGD will turn around and get their vengeance.
Shiauc closing the hook yet again, but way burst on out here by the mid laner in xiye as Langx just charges on in. Cleanse there again. That's a knock-up. 3 members by CJJ as the Moonlight Vigil doesn't connect. The teleports come in from Fenfen, but I think it's a bit too late here as eStar are getting hung, drawn, and quartered. Shiauc left on a prayer. 4 dead in the blink, or should I say the wink of an eye. LGD charge on forward, and there we go. Talented members in a roster come together, and this time around they were clean. As Peanut drops the ulti, Wink tries to do some Aphelios things, but there's too many of them. LGD had this game for a while, but now they take it by the horns and drag it to a game 3.
And we finally get to see what we expected as the